Your day is not ending when you think it is. You turn off the lights, you put your phone down, you get into bed. But your mind is still standing in the middle of the day, holding things. Unfinished conversations, tiny regrets, things you wish you handled differently. Moments your brain keeps replaying like it's trying to rewrite them. And here's the part most people never realize. Exhaustion does not close a day. Time does not close a day. Only emotional closure does. Without it, your nervous system quietly carries today forward, into your sleep, into your dreams, into tomorrow morning. That heavy feeling when you wake up, it's often yesterday, still sitting inside your brain. But this isn't because you're bad at relaxing. And it's not because you overthink too much. It's because your brain is designed to keep emotional loops open until they are acknowledged. Think of your mind like a book that refuses to shut unless the last page is turned. Most people fall asleep mid-page, and the brain hates unfinished pages, so it keeps reading all night. What you're about to learn is something very few people are ever taught. There is a simple psychological way to close the day from the inside. Not by escaping it, not by distracting yourself, but by giving your brain the one signal it has been waiting for. Once your brain receives that signal, mental noise softens. Your body stops holding invisible tension. Sleep becomes deeper. Mornings stop feeling emotionally crowded. You don't need a long routine. You don't need perfect evenings. You just need to know how to end the day emotionally. Because the truth is, a peaceful night does not begin with sleep. It begins with closure. Your brain does not measure a day the way a clock does. It measures a day by emotional completion. This is why you can finish a long day physically, yet mentally feel like something is still running. Because to your brain, an experience is not over until it has been processed. Let's simplify this. Your brain is constantly asking one silent question. Is there anything here I still need to protect you from? If the answer is even slightly maybe, it keeps the system alert. Not in a loud, panicked way, but in a quiet background hum, like an engine that never fully shuts off. This happens because of how your emotional memory system works. Throughout the day, your brain records moments that carry emotional charge, a tense interaction, a mistake, being ignored, pressure you felt, something left unresolved, even something small that made you feel off. Here is the important part most people never understand. Your brain is not trying to annoy you by replaying these moments. It is trying to file them safely. But emotional experiences cannot be filed until they are recognized. Imagine your brain as a careful librarian. Every experience is a book. Neutral moments, those get shelved instantly. But emotional moments, those books stay open on the desk. If you rush into the night without acknowledging them, your brain assumes, we are not done with this yet. So it keeps the book open. And an open emotional loop creates subtle tension inside the nervous system. Not always anxiety, not always stress, just unfinished energy. This is why your body can lie down, but your mind feels slightly upright. Why you wake up already carrying a weight you can't name. Your nervous system never received the message. You can stand down now. There is also another brain system involved here. Your prediction system. Your brain is always preparing you for what comes next. If yesterday feels unresolved, the brain quietly expects more unresolved things tomorrow. So instead of entering sleep in safety, you enter sleep in mild anticipation, still monitoring, still tracking. This is not a flaw. It is actually your brain being very good at its job. Humans survived because our brains didn't easily let things go. But modern life creates dozens of tiny emotional activations every day, more than the brain was designed to close automatically. And here is the key realization. Closure is not something that happens naturally anymore. It is something you give your brain intentionally. Without that signal, the nervous system stays in what psychologists often call open loop mode. Alert but tired, ready but depleted. Once you understand this, something shifts. You stop blaming yourself for being unable to relax, because the issue was never relaxation. The issue was that your brain was still waiting for the moment that tells it, today is complete. Nothing else is required from you. And when your brain finally hears that, it stops scanning. It stops replaying. It stops preparing. Not because you forced it, but because it no longer needs to protect you from an unfinished day. Most people don't fail to close the day because they're careless. They fail because modern life teaches the brain one dangerous rule: there's always more. More messages, more improvement, more you could have said better, more you should have done. So instead of reaching a psychological finish line, your brain experiences the day like a browser with endless tabs. Nothing crashes, nothing explodes, but nothing fully shuts either. And the brain is not built to rest inside unfinished. Here is the deeper pattern. From a very young age, many of us were rewarded for staying mentally engaged, being responsible, thinking ahead, catching mistakes, preparing for tomorrow. So your brain learned something very powerful: staying mentally active equal to staying safe. Over time, this becomes your brain's default posture. Even when the day is over, your mind hesitates, not dramatically, just a quiet internal check. Did we miss anything? Are we really done? Should we think about tomorrow now? This hesitation is enough to keep your nervous system slightly activated, not stressed, just not released. And there is something else happening that most people never notice. Many people end their day the same way they rush through it, phone in hand, thoughts half-formed, attention divided. The body goes to bed, but the brain never gets a closing moment. No psychological boundary. No emotional exhale. Imagine reading a book and stopping mid-sentence every night. Your brain would keep wanting to finish the line. That is exactly what happens emotionally. When the brain cannot detect an ending, it assumes we are still inside the story. So it keeps the emotional muscles lightly contracted, ready. This is why some people sleep 8 hours, yet wake up already tired, because the nervous system never fully unclenched. Here is the truth that often surprises people. Your brain is not asking for a perfect day. It is asking for a clear ending. Completion is what allows the nervous system to release the day instead of carry it. But most people were never taught how to create that ending. So their brain does the only thing it knows. It keeps holding the file open, waiting for the moment it finally hears, "You can let this go now." And once your brain learns to hear that message, something remarkable happens. The mental grip softens. Sleep stops feeling like an escape and starts feeling like a reset. I'm going to show you exactly how to give your brain that ending in a way that feels natural, fast, and deeply calming. Closing the day emotionally is not about fixing everything. It is about telling your brain, nothing else needs to be carried tonight. Most people try to relax by distracting themselves, scrolling, watching something, staying mentally busy until exhaustion wins. But exhaustion is not closure. Your brain relaxes when it senses completion, not when it runs out of energy. So here is the simple practice. Before you sleep, just for a moment, mentally step back into your day and acknowledge it as a whole, not to judge it, not to analyze it, just to recognize it. Then say this quietly to yourself: today was enough. The day is complete. Notice what this does. You are not claiming the day was perfect. You are not pretending nothing went wrong. You are simply drawing a psychological line between today and what comes next. And the brain understands lines. The moment it detects an ending, it stops tracking. The emotional grip loosens. Your breathing deepens. The subtle readiness inside your body begins to fade, because your nervous system finally hears the message it has been waiting for: you are off duty. If something is unresolved, remind yourself gently, it can wait until tomorrow. Not as avoidance, but as containment. Your brain relaxes when tomorrow has a place to exist instead of leaking into tonight. Here's something important to understand. You don't need a long ritual. You don't need journaling marathons. You don't need the perfect nighttime routine. Your brain is not asking for effort. It is asking for permission to release. And once you start giving it that permission, night after night, sleep becomes quieter. Your body stops holding invisible tension. Mornings feel less emotionally crowded, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you stopped dragging yesterday into today. Remember this: the day doesn't end when the clock says so. It ends when your brain feels safe enough to put it down. You were never bad at resting. Your mind was simply waiting for someone to close the door. Now you know how.